What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Welcome to another installment of T3 Off the Cuff, your daily horology news. Now, we're going to be talking about something that was brought up during my last Saturday live stream. And again, we do a Saturday live stream every single Saturday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. Please be there because it's a whole lot of fun and we do different themes and we talk about different topics all the time. Now, this last live stream, the title was Argue with a Watch Snob. That's right. I asked you guys to argue with me because I'm argue back. All right? You guys argue with me regularly in the comment section of my episodes, but I'm a little bit too nice to you guys. It was time for me to dish it out. All right? I take it all the time. Now it's time for me to give you some. And one of my favorite arguments that was brought up in the chat, something that I was to rally against. Some knucklehead said, Seiko 5's catalog has more versatility and functionality than anything on Rolex's current catalog. Now, I know that statement, some of you may immediately agree with it, some of you may immediately disagree with it, but I disagree with that statement, and I'm going to argue against it right here and right now, so you guys don't have to go back and try to click through that hours-long live stream. Here's my argument, all right? Let me go ahead and tell the time. It is 2:45 p.m. Let's get down to business. Now, I am a little bit biased because I'm wearing a Rolex at the time. I'm wearing my date 1500. Let's go ahead. Shout out to this cool background, Stova. We're not talking about Stova today, though. We are talking about Seiko 5. Okay, the Seiko 5 Sport catalog and Rolex. So here we have pretty much the poster child of the Seiko 5 Sport catalog, right? One of these ugly 5KXs, or how I like to call it, a counterfeit SKX. Why do I say that? Well, because this is a neutered SKX. People make the argument, oh, this wasn't to replace the SKX. I don't know what you're so upset about. Well, it was, because they discontinued the SKX officially, and then they announced this one. Looks exactly like an SKX. Doesn't have a threaded crown, though, and they took away the ISO rating, and they cut it in half. So this is a dive style watch. Already there, you can argue this is not very functional, but again, we're comparing it to the Rolex current catalog. All right, so more versatility and functionality than Rolex's current catalog. All right, so what do we see here? Well, we see this 5KX. Oh, we see a Common Rider edition, which is I actually grew up watching this. Oh, we see some more Seiko 5 Sports 55th anniversary. Oh, we see another one. Oh, we see another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. And oh! Finally, something different they want to advertise. This replaced the SNK 809 series. Again, for about 3 times the price of an SNK 809. But we have some, like, these are like kind of field watchy, piloty watches, field street style, do it your way. And the only other really thing that they have different in the Seiko 5 Sport line is one of these counterfeit SKXs with a GMT complication. It's a collar GMT. It's not a true GMT. That's perfectly fine. I made an episode comparing both kinds. But this is really the only, like, when you think Seiko's 5 Sports, you only think of this watch. You can't really argue that that's more functional or more diverse of a catalog than what Rolex has, right? And then the argument on the other side, right, is that, oh, well, Rolex has only been making the same watches for the last 100 years. Well, let's take a look at Rolex's catalog. Already, I'm seeing some different watches here. So you have like a kind of more elegant, sporty watch, because again, the date just is a sports watch. You have a date complication, fluted bezel, Jubilee bracelet. Then you have traditional divers, like the Submariner. This is a legit dive watch with a trip lock crown and a 300-meter water resistance rating. Then you have a proper GMT with a date complication. This is a true GMT and a threaded crown. So this is something that, you can use much more functionally than one of those counterfeit SKX GMTs. Hey, you have a day date. And again, this is in precious metal, because for those of you who don't know, who might be entering the hobby or who just aren't familiar with Rolex, day dates or presidents are never offered in stainless steel. They're only precious metals. And this kind of light blue hue denotes that this watch is most likely platinum, which is very, very cool. Here we have a Daytona, which is a sports watch, but it takes chronographs further by threading all the pushers and crowns. So this is a sealed oyster case. You can go ahead and swim with this, no problem. You don't have to worry about it. Then you have what I guess would be the entry level of Rolex's current catalog, which is the OP. No complications, still a great sports watch, looks great on an oyster case and a threaded crown. You could swim with this and use this more functionally and more versatile, it is more versatile, excuse me, than any of these Seiko 5 Sports, simply because, oops, we're going to talk about that in a moment. Oops, sneak preview. Because you can put this on a leather strap and dress it up, wear it as a dress watch. You can put this on a sailcloth strap and use it as a kind of nautical, sporty watch. You can put it on a NATO strap and make it look kind of more rough and tumble. This right here is already more functional than anything on the Seiko 5 Sports catalog. Excuse me. And I haven't even brought up materials. All right. Pretty much all of the Seiko 5 Sports stainless steel. Some of them have coatings, some of them don't. This right here is the Yachtmaster, now in titanium. We've already brought up a platinum version of a watch. We can see two-tone. This is Rolazor, so stainless steel and yellow gold. We have a pilot's watch here, again, a threaded crown. We have a two-tone Explorer, which I don't know like why they did that, but hey, this is precious metal, and again, it's Rolazor, precious metal with stainless steel. Then we have solid precious metal watches. Now, this is the ladies' Datejust. But then we have watches with a multitude of complications. Very interesting complication with a fluted bezel that actually rotates and actuates the complication. We have specific dress watches with the Cellini series, which I don't even want to talk about because I don't like Cellini, but you have some options there. And again, precious metals. You have regatta timers with the Yachtmaster 2. You have chronographs with the Daytona. You have a plethora of materials and combinations and colorways. And that's kind of this Seiko 5's whole gag, right? We have a bunch of different colorways and so cool, but that's not versatility, and that's not added functionality. It's just very hard to argue that point, that Seiko 5 Sports has more versatility and functionality than Rolex. I think that was a difficult stance to argue for, and I appreciate the person trying to make an argument, because hey, that was the challenge, and I'm not digging on the person that asked that question. It was a great question, and it got my little got the little gerbils in my brain going. Now I wanted to bring this up. Midsize Seiko 5 Sports SKX series. Why they gotta use that? Why you gotta sully this with an SKX? 38mm collection. Again, if these weren't replacing the SKX, then why do they say Seiko 5 Sports SKX? Shout out Monochrome Watches. I love Monochrome Watches. I'm friends with those guys. Yeah, so they're in 38mm. Oh, okay. Just go online and find yourself an SKX 013. The SKX 013 was the undersized version of the proper SKX. It has the threaded crown. It has the water resistance rating. It's not neutered like these. Go find an SKX 013. They're going to be kind of hard to find now, and you're going to be spending more money than this, but it's going to be worth it because you're going to have an actual SKX. So great question. I just needed to bring it up. And I know people are going to be upset because they're like, oh, 5KX is way more affordable. That may be, but it's nowhere near anything Rolex offers. So I'm sorry. And I know I'm a Rolex fanboy, but I'm a Seiko fanboy too. So guys, please become a channel member. Check it out. Click the join button next to the subscribe button. It's $4.99 a month. You get an extra piece of content every week and access to the members only Discord chat. I'm working on a very heavy episode that I'm releasing for the channel members. It's taking some research. It's taking a lot of editing because there's some legal things about the story that I'm covering, and I want to protect myself and the parties involved. and it's going to be a big thing that I'm releasing for the channel members. So if you want to catch that when I release it, then go ahead and click that join button. It's like YouTube's Patreon. It's the price of a cup of coffee in this economy. So I appreciate all of you guys who go above and beyond and support me. Check me out on Instagram at The Simple Consultant. You can check me out on T3 Time to Drive. You can go follow my dad's channel, Beverly Hills Shrink, where we are about to upload a new episode today on both channels, new episodes on both channels. And I will catch you tomorrow for your daily horology news on T3 Off the Cuff. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. All right, guys. I love you.